In the late 1980s, northern Uganda was gripped by chaos. A spiritual medium named Joseph Kony had formed a rebel group known as the Lord's Resistance Army, the LRA, claiming to fight for God, but in reality leaving behind a trail of kidnapping, torture, rape, and murder. They stole children, forced them to become soldiers and sex slaves, and sent them to destroy their own villages. Families were shattered, entire communities burned, children turned into monsters just to survive, and one of those children was Thomas Kwoyelo. Kwoyelo was abducted as a young boy, just like many others, but unlike most, he rose through the ranks, from victim to commander. Under Kony's brutal regime, Kwoyelo became feared. He led raids. He orchestrated attacks on villages. He was involved in murder, torture, sexual slavery, and the recruitment of child soldiers. For over a decade, Kwoyelo was a ghost in the bush, one of Kony's most loyal fighters. But time runs out for everyone, and in 2009 he was finally captured by the Ugandan army during a raid in the Democratic Republic of Congo. What followed was historic. Kwoyelo became the first person ever tried by Uganda's International Crimes Division, a court created specifically to prosecute war crimes and crimes against humanity. He was charged with 93 counts, including murder, kidnapping, sexual slavery, use of child soldiers, destruction of property, cruel treatment of civilians. The trial wasn't easy. It was delayed for years due to legal arguments and political pressure. Some said Kwoyelo was a victim, having been abducted as a child. Others said he had blood on his hands and had to pay for what he'd done. And the survivors, they just wanted justice. They wanted to be seen. They wanted to be heard. One woman, only identified as Grace, testified that she had been taken by Kwoyelo's unit. She was 13 years old when the LRA killed her parents and made her a slave. She was raped, beaten, left with scars that never healed. Another boy said Kwoyelo's men made him shoot his own brother to prove loyalty. These were the stories that filled the courtroom, not just evidence, haunting echoes of trauma that could no longer be buried. And finally, after over a decade of waiting, in August 2024, the verdict came. Thomas Kwoyelo was found guilty of war crimes and crimes against humanity. Justice had finally spoken. But here's where the story takes a turn. Many survivors felt relieved, but also conflicted. Kwoyelo had once been a child victim himself. He didn't choose to be abducted, but he had chosen to rise, to kill, to lead. Others in Uganda felt that reconciliation, not punishment, was the way forward, as many former LRA fighters had been granted amnesty. So why was Kwoyelo being punished when others weren't? The truth is, justice isn't always simple, but his conviction sent a message. Even if you were once a victim, you are still responsible for what you become. The story of Thomas Kwoyelo is not just about one man. It's about thousands of lives ruined, children lost, families destroyed, and a country still trying to heal. But his conviction is a thread of truth in a fabric of pain. It proves that even in the darkest corners of war, truth can be spoken and justice can be served. Because silence protects the guilty, and threaded truths exists to break that silence. If this story moved you, please subscribe for more real African stories that matter. Like and share to honor the victims whose voices deserve to be heard. Comment below. Do you believe justice was truly served in Kwoyelo's case, or should his childhood abduction have earned him forgiveness? Until next time, stay curious, stay brave, and keep pulling at the threads until the truth is fully revealed.